Hello, it is already Wednesday. It's already over the half of the week. The week is flying by, I'm sure. I'm sure you guys are getting adjusted back into the rhythm. Before we start, just let me put in a small plug. Keep sticking with those habits. These small building blocks will continue to grow into something that will help you spiritually. Now today, we're going to talk about the bigger project, the CAP assignment. We're also going to talk about communication. When I was thinking about communication and the importance of doing it well, it made me think of the first time that I went to Starbucks when I came to America a couple of years ago. I had started college. It was, I think, maybe even my first week of class, and a missionary from the country of Macedonia, he said, hey, let's go to Starbucks. I want to hear a little bit more about your story. I was excited. And so we get there. We're standing in line, and I'm looking at this panel with all these options. America is the country of the coffee options. And I see, I think it was the third or fourth one down, in that busy Starbucks, I see a drink that I'm like, I have no idea what it is, but I love it. I want to have that. Now, that was the first mistake. When you're in a place new, you probably should stick to what you already know. And so I get to the counter, and my friend Philip, he orders first. And then I walk up, and I say, could I have a small mocha? And the man just stands there staring at me, and he says, mocha? And I was like, yeah, mocha. It's right on there, the third or fourth one down. And he starts laughing. He says, well, here at Starbucks, we call that a mocha. Now, that was a good example of not communicating clearly, not connecting while you're communicating. Now maybe you are having a conversation with someone and you're just not communicating clearly. And it's just getting awkward. You say the same thing once, twice, three times, maybe even a little bit louder, and they're just staring at you with a blank stare in their eyes. Communicating is super important. Now, you guys are going to be communicating to me as well about your churches. And we could, of course, sit down and we could have maybe an hour-long conversation about your church. You don't have time for that, I don't, so we're doing it in a paper format. And that's what the CAP project is all about. You telling me what you have learned over the past few months about your church. And we're going to try to do that in the clearest possible way. And that's why there are some guidelines that help us communicate clearly. Now, before we dive into all of that, we're just going to pause our conversation here. And I want to show you one of the funniest commercials that I've seen in a while. So sit back, it's only like 30 seconds to a minute, and watch this commercial about communicating poorly.
Das hier ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
Das hier ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
Now, I got to give it to them. They, in the video, spoke better English than I spoke German when I had German class in high school. But again, kind of a funny illustration of how communication can go horribly, horribly wrong. Now, let's dive into some of these requirements that I'm looking for in your overall CAP project. You guys should have already or beginning to wrap up your CAP 5. If not, finish that as soon as you can today, because you're going to want to start copy and pasting all of your CAP projects into that one document. Now that document you're going to want to set up following a couple different guidelines, a couple different rules. And you can find them, and I encourage you to turn there, in your packet. Now the first one is that we need a MLA heading. So in the top left, you're going to start with your name, your teacher, which would be Mr. Brussel, your grade, and your date. That is what we call the assignment heading. Now in the center of that document, after you hit enter, after those 4 items, in the center you're going to put the title. And you're going to put something along the lines of a church analysis midterm paper. So that is going to be your title. You're going to hit enter, and by doing so, you're already almost halfway all the formatting rules. So that wasn't too hard, right? So we have our heading with our 4 pieces of information, with our name, our teacher, our grade, and the date. And then we have our assignment heading, the title. Now, as you are typing, a couple things that you'll want to do is, first of all, have double spacing, okay? Double spacing. Now, this is to help you. Double-spaced papers fill faster than single-spaced papers. Actually, they fill twice as fast because they're double-spaced. Secondly, you need to have the font size to 0.12, so the font size 12. I'm sure you guys all know how to do that. And then lastly, it needs to be black font and Times New Roman. So no crazy font sizes or colors, black font, 0.12, and then double spaced. So let me just recap that. MLA heading with the name, teacher, the grade, so 7A, 8B, 7A, and then the date, and the assignment title. And as you're writing, double spaced, New Times Roman, black font, and 0.12 font size. So that's setting up your document. Now for setting up your paragraph, you can read along with me. There needs to be at least 5 sentences in a paragraph. And as you have learned with Mrs. Kuntz, every paragraph has a topic sentence, it has 3 supporting points, and then it has a concluding sentence. So your topic sentence, your first sentence in the paragraph should be very similar to your summarizing sentence at the end. Okay, so I might say, if I was writing a paper arguing that dogs are better than cats, I might start off by saying dogs are better than cats, and then I would say because they are fuzzier. Also, dogs are very soft and friendly. And then lastly, I might say dogs are known to be man's best friends. These things, summarizing sentence, these things tell us that dogs are better than cats. Okay, kind of a silly example, but hopefully you get the idea. Topic sentence, a couple of supporting sentences, 3 or more, and then closing with your concluding or summarizing sentence. So every paragraph, at least 5 sentences. And as I've been reading your CAP projects, the smaller ones that you've been doing over the past few months, you guys have done an excellent job with that. Now, some hints there. I'm going to attach a video to this Google Classroom day, or the Google Classroom assignment, and that'll have some other helpful hints on how to set up your document in a way that meets all of the rules for this assignment. And then there's a website, and it's called Purdue OWL. Again, I'll put the link in the Google assignment, and you will find that very helpful as you kind of work towards formatting your paper well. Okay, so that's it for the formatting. Now the rest of the paper I lay out very detailed, step by step, what I'm looking for. And so if you use that as a checklist, it's set up for you like that. You can just check off whenever something is done. So what I would recommend, encourage you to do, is you would start at the beginning. You would write your introduction paragraphs, and then you would copy and paste your new your Cap 1 paragraph into the new document. And as soon as you copy and paste, I would format it right. So double spaced, MLA format, Times New Roman, font size 12, color black, and then I would move on to the next one. Okay, so making sure that your entire document is formatted well. It would be a shame to lose some points on something that is that simple. Now let's go on to our daily check-in, and that is very simple. What do you still have to do for the overall paper? So when this is done, first thing, head over to the survey that's attached to this Google Classroom assignment, fill that out, and then spend the rest of class working on the CAP project. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.